This video is going to be a major eye-opener for people. Today I'm going to talk about what's called phytic acid. It's one of the most common compounds that's in our mass food supply, like things that people have no idea this thing is in. It's in a massive amount of common foods that a lot of people are consuming. In the meantime, the medical community, it's very well known in medical circles that this compound is a very powerful anti-nutrient and a powerful mineral chelator. So what it does is it strips your body of essential minerals that you need to function properly. Two medical researchers actually, after the full available review of the current research body on the subject, actually went so far as to say that the phytic acid content in things like beans, brown rice, soy, nuts, and seeds is actually likely the single greatest contributor to wide-scale mass micronutrient deficiencies in the world. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to expose this mass mineral chelator. I'm going to tell you all about it and which foods that you're probably eating right now that contain a large amount of this phytic acid in it, and then what you can do to fight back and stop it.
Are you consuming these 5 foods? Lucky for you, there's a solution. Huh? Yes, a solution. These foods contain a compound known as phytic acid. Phytic acid contains compounds that take away key minerals from your body. So make sure you aren't feeding your pets these as well. Learn more about phytic acid today and other health myths on the Christopher Walker YouTube channel.
All right, so here's just, we're going to start out and just show some definitions basically of what phytic acid truly is. All right, so in this link in this medical dictionary, what we see is that they define phytic acid as a strong chelator of minerals that can also cause constipation. Basically, the intention and kind of seems how phytic acid has essentially evolved with plants is that it stores and chelates these minerals, gathering minerals into plants essentially to store them and protect them, because typically it's stored in the part of the plant, like for example the brown rice hull, that is actually indigestible to humans. So the other animals cannot actually get access to these nutrients. It's super interesting stuff. The thing is, the problem is that when you consume this phytic acid into the body from these foods that it's in, it starts to chelate your minerals too. So it starts to cause micronutrient deficiencies in your minerals in your body, and including in your gut. So that's kind of a bad issue. So this study shows that because of the dense nature of the negative phosphate groups in phytic acid, when consumed, it readily attaches to mineral ions, rendering them unavailable for uptake by the body. So this one right here shows the effects of phytic acid consumption on iron deficiency. Right here, this supports the idea that vegans and vegetarians are vastly more susceptible to these deficiencies because of their high phytate containing diet. And this study right here showed that the effect of a mixture containing phytic acid caused disruption of bacterial cell membranes, degradation of DNA, and caused pores in the membranes of the cells. So from the cellular level, it's causing a lot of damage. Now, this study states that phytates do inhibit zinc and calcium absorption, and that phytate can give false mineral availability. The study right here shows that the effect of phytic acid is basically when it's consumed in the form of a bran, like a rice bran, inhibits iron absorption of the bran. So this study right here showed the effect that phytic acid had on iron absorption in a dose-dependent manner. So clearly it has, a problem, blocks iron absorption. This study right here showed the inhibitory effect that phytic acid had on zinc absorption in women. This study right here showed the absorption of iron was inhibited in Indian women from high phytate containing foods like wheat germ and lentils. You look at the abstract, it's number 7. So this study right here states that phytate has a strong chelating property, which we already know, which allows for poor bioavailability in the gastrointestinal tract of multivalent metal ions, especially zinc, calcium, and iron. And obviously these things are essential for the human body to run properly. So the more phytic acid you're consuming, you're just stripping your body of these things. This study right here states that the bioavailability of minerals in legumes is actually really bad because of the high amount of phytic acid. So that just debunks the whole concept that a lot of people say, oh, you should eat legumes, you should eat beans because they're super healthy and contain lots of minerals. Well, they might contain the minerals, but they also contain so much phytic acid that you can't get access to the minerals. This study was actually done on broiler chickens, and it showed that the phytate ingestion over a 48-hour period caused increased excretion of multiple minerals, amino acids, sulfur, nitrogen, and sialic acid. This talks about how phytic acid renders many essential minerals to be poorly bioavailable. It also talks about the mechanism and even talks about how it can bind to proteins in certain pH levels. This study right here showed that phytic acid had a 79% decrease in zinc absorption compared to the control. Now on page 212 of this book right here, we see that basically they state the fact about the strong chelating effect of phytic acid, and they show that it forms insoluble compounds with a lot of essential minerals, including copper, cobalt, magnesium, manganese, zinc, calcium, and iron. Now here in this study, we see that they talk about the very significant inhibition of zinc absorption along with inhibiting manganese absorption. So in this study, they proved a dose-dependent effect of phytic acid on inhibiting the absorption of magnesium. So here we go. They talk a bit about the chemistry with a calorimetric study with several minerals and their binding potential with phytic acid. In this one, it shows that the effects of the phytates with a different number of phosphorus still had inhibitory effects on iron absorption. This study looked at the effect of phytic acid in the diet of people throughout China and concluded that it does have an inhibitory effect on iron, zinc, and calcium absorption. So we're seeing these patterns. I mean, this stuff's proven over and over and over again. This study showed that phytic acid given to piglets inhibited the apparent ileum digestibility of magnesium and sodium due to the increasing of endogenous losses of these minerals, so the electrolyte deficiencies. So the study was shown to cause an increase in excretion of minerals, nitrogen, and amino acids similar to the one above. However, this one had a sample size twice as large. So, there's two major studies showing the same exact thing. So by consuming phytic acid, your body starts to very much excrete some very important things. So this study shows that phytate is a potent inhibitor of zinc, which we already have seen, iron, which we've seen many times now, and calcium, which we've also seen many times. And this study shows that sweet potatoes outperformed the maize-based mix when they were comparing mineral absorption of zinc, iron, and calcium. So it does look like, unfortunately, since corn has a much higher phytic acid content than tubers like sweet potatoes, it does also inhibit mineral absorption, which kind of sucks because corn tastes good, but gotta go with the facts here. So the study shows the inhibition right here. We're gonna look at some other things other than just those minerals because obviously, the research is pretty obvious that it inhibits all those minerals over and over and over again. So let's look at some other stuff. So this study shows the inhibition of trypsin, which is a proteolytic enzyme, from just low levels of phytic acid consumption. In this one, we see a reduction in the effectiveness of amylase alpha when exposed to this phytic acid, which definitely makes a lot of sense since the plants wouldn't actually want to be able to be digested. So this phytic acid is a defense mechanism. I've talked about this before. I've talked about this in the Veggie Myth video. The plants have defense mechanisms to protect the mineral content in the plant. It makes it indigestible in humans in a lot of cases. So this study showed that sodium phytate actually decreased the pepsin activity in the digestion of protein. So it's that's just basically hurting your gut, essentially. This study showed a dose-dependent manner of phytate causing inhibition of lipase activity. So we're seeing a lot of these enzyme kind of counteractions. So the phytic acid is also working against these enzymes. So in this one, you can see in the results that there's actually a good increase in the inhibition of pepsin. Again, as phytic acid is increased, the consumption is increased. This one showed an inhibitory effect of phytic acid on alpha amylase and proteases. Again, all these enzymes, these important enzymes, are being inhibited by the phytic acid. This study showed an increased excretion of phosphorus and also talks about the adverse effects on protein utilization because of the phytic acid consumption. Here's another study showing the inhibition, slowing of starch digestion by the addition of phytic acid. This link actually has a really good table of percentages of phytate for certain foods in dry weight. Here, we see some a couple WebMD things. We got if you look at the side effects of zinc deficiency, because obviously phytic acid causes zinc deficiency. Also, I talk a lot about this in my book, Master Your Tea, about the reproductive hormone effects of having zinc deficiencies. Very, very key mineral to have in the correct quantities. Same with iron. Here's some iron deficiency side effects. Here's some magnesium deficiency side effects, calcium deficiency side effects, manganese deficiency side effects, copper deficiency side effects, and cobalt deficiency side effects. So these are all blocked by phytic acid. Phytic acid is not a good thing. And again, like I said earlier, phytic acid, the foods that contain the most phytic acid are beans, brown rice, nuts, soy, and seeds. This stuff ain't good, people. Stop eating it. So at this point, you're probably a bit confused. I mean, I know this is the kind of information that rocks people's world. Like if they find out that all the major foods that they've been eating actually contain these anti-nutrients, they contain things like mineral chelators, like phytic acid, which are stripping their body of the essential vitamins and minerals that it needs. This can cause a lot of confusion. It's almost like it's flipping your world upside down. What you thought you knew is actually bad for you. So what I did is I've seen these patterns. I know exactly how to bring people's body back into a state of great health. And I built a framework around two things. So this framework basically is how to eat to optimize your micronutrients so that you don't have any micronutrient deficiencies at all, that your body has all the raw materials it needs to function from the cellular all the way up to the full organism level, metabolically and hormonally. And then this framework, this diet framework, actually helps you bring your body back into a state of hormonal balance. So what I did was I identified the 3 major organs that people have problems with. And what we're going to do is, if you go to thethermodiet.com/quiz, I made a quiz with some kind of unorthodox questions, but trust me, when you give me the answers to these questions, it's going to help me identify which body type you are, whether you're a liver body type, a thyroid body type, or a pituitary body type. And what that's going to help me do is put you on a track with a specific way to eat that you can actually start to recover from any of these deficiencies and bring your body back to that baseline health that it should be at. So go to thethermodiet.com/quiz and just answer those questions. It's only about 60 seconds long, a small time investment for a massive return in your health. So go over there right now. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you on the next video. So when I first realized that mint was a unhealthy food for consumption for your reproductive health, it actually made me a bit sad.